Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 119th episode of the Triboro Podcast. I am your host, Justin Alonso, joined by Nicholas O'Brien. How are we doing, Nicholas O'Brien?
I'm doing good. Eric Chavez is no longer my hitting coach.
I am not doing good for multiple reasons. My car's in the mechanic shop right now, so I don't have a
Oh no,
car.
not the
The
Alonso
Yankees
mobile.
suck.
Max
Aaron
Fried
Judge
laid
is
an
having
egg.
maybe the most confusing postseason of all time.
I would, I would say the emptiest is the word I would use.
Mm,
Empty.
on a relative basis to how full it could be, yes. Because think about it, there's a difference between an empty 250 and an empty 450.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you're hitting 450 and that's all empty, that's 450 worth of emptiness.
Oh, of emptiness. I see
But
what
if
you
it's
mean.
250 and it's 250 empty, it's only 250 worth of emptiness.
Mm-hmm. It's the emptiest 1,000 OPS I've ever seen.
Speaking of this team, so, because we'll get to Aaron Judge. Oh, trust me, because I am not a happy camper. I am not a happy camper one bit. Let's start with that game one. You had Kevin Gausman versus Luis Hill. I think everyone and their mothers, every Yankee fan, everyone with a brain, knew that if there was a game that you were most likely going to lose, it was going to be that one. But the way in which it happened is the frustrating part. Because Kevin Gausman was dominating you for the first 5 innings of that game. Was literally, I think he had like 45 pitches through the first 5 innings. It was ridiculous. He was on pace to have a phenomenal postseason start. Then you started getting walks, started getting hits. You got bases loaded, no men out for your 1, 2, 3. Forget what Grisham does. Then you got Aaron Judge, who comes up with the bases loaded. Has a very good at bat. Gets to 3-2, fouls off some good pitches, takes some good pitches. Then swings and misses on a splitter that was never a strike out of the zone. That is probably his worst swing that he's had since 2017. I don't know about you, but I feel like it was the most obvious splitter of all time that was coming.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It could not have
I
been
was
more
really
obvious.
I was hoping you're gonna say that because if not, I was going to. You just get jammed on a 90. I think it was 97.
97.
Whatever.
97
Fastball
in on the hands.
inside. You're facing Kevin Gausman,
Which, how do you...
whose best pitch is,
A splitter.
whose whiff pitch is,
A splitter.
whose put away pitch is,
A splitter.
and what does he throw?
A fastball?
A splitter. Again, like you said, that was never a strike. Out of the hand was never a strike.
And a couple of things. One, Aaron Judge has seen Gausman a lot. I think he has over like 50 at-bats against him. Like some absurd number. Fact check me on this. Because he played with the Orioles for a while. He's been with the Blue Jays for a while. So he's seen him a shit ton. So he knows what Gausman's arsenal is. He knows how Gausman likes to pitch against him. All of that. And before I get started on the actual pitch stuff that he swung and missed on, I saw a lot of people... Go on.
Aaron Judge is 17 for 48 with 6 home runs, 12 RBIs.
Yeah, so
Kevin
48
Gausman.
at-bats.
That's a 354 average and over 2,000 OPS.
Exactly. I will say a lot of that did come when he was on the Orioles.
Yeah, let's see.
Before he actually was a Blue Jay, and that was kind of when he did end up turning his career around, became a significantly better pitcher. But can you find a split on that of when?
Yes,
you can. Okay,
it's still over 1,000 OPS.
Okay,
9 for 31, 3 homers, 6 RBI, 39 plate appearances.
Yeah, but
struck out only 11 times in 31 at bats.
Because I saw a lot of people also getting mad at him for swinging at that pitch, the 97 in on the hands. What's your take on that?
That was still a full count, was it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to protect him.
Too close to take. Because think about it this way. If he strikes out on that pitch, think about how much different the narrative is.
Right.
I don't know, 97 in on the hands, I get it. that is the exact definition of what Judge had. The best thing that Judge could have done there was foul that off. There's no way he
Right.
gets a hit on that. The If he doesn't swing on it, there's probably a 30% chance that gets called a strike, and you do not want to
Yeah.
take those odds in the post. You have to foul
Right.
that off. But that splitter, dude, you got
I
to
agree.
know that you've seen him so many times. You've seen that splitter so many times. You know how he pitches. You have the scouting reports. You know what he's going to try and do in that situation. And my thing, too, is that you look at Judge, and I think I said this in the group chat. You look at Judge's face on that 3-2, and it just looked like he knew he had to do something. He was looking like he was trying to hit a 5-run home run there.
Yeah, these past 2 games, I don't think it's been clearer that this is more likely than not a mental problem
Yeah.
for Judge in the postseason. Like, I'm sure we'll
I don't
talk
think
about
there's
in
any
game
other
2.
argument.
Yeah, but that at bat and then the error in game 2, which was weird. I'll give him that, but still,
And it probably
yeah,
didn't end up mattering.
right.
Because I'm a big
Yeah,
believer in
given how the rest of the game went, yeah,
Well, I was gonna say, like, obviously, like, there was the home run hit that drew it in, but you also don't know how he's gonna get pitched differently, all that, yada yada yada. But
right,
odds are, no outs, runner on second and third probably doesn't make a difference. That runner still gets in regardless, probably. But
right. So again, I don't think it's ever been more clear that this is more likely than not just a mental hurdle that
mhm.
Aaron Judge just cannot go over or
Because
get over.
speaking of the hits, he has 8 hits and 18 at bats. He's hitting 444 with a 524 on base, a 500 slugging. He's hitting the ball.
Albeit one extra base hit,
Yeah.
7 singles, 1 double. But again,
And
it's
it's
just
funny because the double was a hustle
empty.
double.
Right, right,
So it wasn't
yeah.
even like a gapper or. No, it was literally just him hustling. Imagine
Yeah.
if he got thrown out there, dude. That's another thing. But if he
That
got
would be
thrown
something
out there
else.
at second, that would have the
Yeah,
narratives would have just gotten worse. Let's just say
yeah,
that. But my thing is, say what you want about Aaron Judge right now, because I do think he has to be better. He does. But you look at the rest of the offense on this team, and it's deplorable. Like, it's pathetic. Because Paul Goldschmidt is your leading. You take out qualified, so it's really just guys that what they've done. Paul Goldschmidt has an 1142 OPS. Granted, that's in 7 at bats because he just doesn't
yeah.
play because he's only going to be playing against lefties, and all 4 hits are singles. Ben Rice, 846 OPS, but he had 2 hits in that whatever it was, like the 6th, 7th inning yesterday, where the Yankees just got absolutely shredded. Anthony Volpe, 737 OPS. All right, that's solid. He's played really good defense. Do you know how many times he struck out in 19 at bats?
10.
10. Was that like
Yeah,
55, 56% strikeout percentage, something about that? That is
that would be
pathetic. I know he has the home run off Crochet, the
yeah,
4 hits, or
52.6% strikeout rate.
yeah, he has the home run off Crochet. He has a double. He has 5 hits overall. So like that's good, but it's also a thing of 10 strikeouts.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous to a point. But I'm not even gonna get mad at him because you have guys like Cody Bellinger, 659, and that is heavily inflated by some of the most garbage time hits that I've ever seen in my entire life yesterday. Ryan McMahon, 606, but I don't really care too much as long as
whatever.
he's
You're
treading
not
water.
yeah,
As
you're
long as
not
Ryan
leaning
McMahon is
on Ryan
treading
McMahon.
water, I don't care.
Yeah.
You go down the line, everyone else is sub 500. That's Austin Wells, 481, Giancarlo Stanton, 440, and he had 2 hits in that big 6th, 7th inning, whatever it was, when they were down 13 fucking runs. Trent Grisham, 427, Jazz Chisholm, 423, Ahmed Rosario, 334, Jose Caballero, 250. That is all pathetic. So I get it. Aaron Judge has to be better in those big moments. The rest of the team has to fucking hit the ball.
Yeah, for sure, for
You know what I
sure.
mean?
A
It
lot.
shouldn't be a thing
Yeah,
of part of the mental thing is probably Judge realizing not a single other person is hitting the ball right now. Your
right.
most productive postseason hitters last year were Juan Soto, Gleyber Torres, Giancarlo Stanton. You don't have Gleyber, you don't have Soto. Stanton looks like a shell of himself right now.
Do you think they feel the loss of Soto at all? Just even a little bit, or like even you? Do you feel like
Oh yeah,
something's missing? Yeah.
I
Okay.
definitely feel that, but I don't think the players do, because
Hmm.
in season they made it work.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Fair.
So, because you aggregate it, you essentially add up Soto and Verdugo's production, and you got near similar enough results with Grisham and Bellinger, especially when you
Right.
include defense. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think it was to the point where like it was pretty not pretty negligible, but somewhat negligible the difference when you just take the body of work of all four of those players as a
Right.
whole.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that, but there definitely is something missing, and I think that a lot, like I said, a lot of people are going to shit on Judge. Stan was the biggest part of your postseason run last year, and what is he doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he is a much bigger issue than Judge right now, and I'll
Yeah, for
stand
sure.
on
I
that.
think obviously the spotlight is on Judge because he just consistently has not done it. But for sure, like a lot of this team deserves
But who has done it?
probably more blame.
Like that's my thing. Who has done it? Austin Wells with that single.
This year nobody. This year nobody. But
It
in
literally
the
Austin
past,
Wells in one at bat.
yeah, right.
So it's like who else? Like you look at that, whatever that was the fourth or fifth inning on Thursday against the Red Sox. You were helped by some pretty shitty defense by the Red Sox.
Right.
So Ben Rice first pitch of the postseason that he's ever seen was a home run. Ever since then, he hasn't looked good.
Right.
He doesn't know how to lay off a fucking breaking pitch to save his life. So because it's a thing of yeah, you gave up what was that 10 and 13 runs. I look at both of those first two games as they were not as close as the score says.
Oh
Game
yeah.
one, I think, was a lot closer.
Yeah.
Game two was a lot further than what
Yeah.
the score actually said. So
I
in
think game two was
inverse,
the blowout.
yeah, in inverse ways, the score does not represent how close the game was.
Yeah.
Game
Yeah.
one, you could blame Aaron Judge all you want. Giancarlo Stanton had a god awful at bat as
Mm.
well in that inning. That end of the inning was striking out on a pitch, and then Aaron Boone puts in Luke Weaver. Which why? Like I get it, you want to get Weaver going, but really, he didn't look like he even knew where a pitch was going against the Red Sox. 3 batters, 3 hits. Did that same exact thing against the Blue Jays. And that ended up just spiraling down, 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 down. And then
Yeah.
next thing you know, blink and it's a 9-run game. So I. A lot of people want to blame Judge for that game, but I don't see how you blame Judge more than Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver literally just handed to them on a silver platter. And like I said, Aaron Judge needs to be better. I am not doubting that. That is bad that Aaron Judge, at the very least, didn't get a sac fly or walked in that bat
Right.
against Gosman. A run
Gotta
should have
put the ball in
scored
play.
because of Judge. Regardless, however you want to score, it should have. He should have been better. But I know Cody Bellinger walked. He did his job, so I'm not going to get mad at him for that. Cody Bellinger could have driven runs. Giancarlo Stanton, the folklore postseason hero, he could have done something. He looks horrible. And I'm not sitting here trying to rag on Stanton. It's just annoying that no one's talking about, everyone's putting all the spotlight on Judge when who on this team is hitting? Seriously. Because it's not even a thing like you can say, oh, Paul Goldschmidt has good numbers, put him in. Yeah, but who's to say he does that against righties?
Right.
Probably doesn't. Because all 4 of his hits were against lefties. So I do think you need to change something, but I don't know. Like, Trent Grisham has been abysmal. At what point do you say, all right, Trent, you got to take a day off. Dominguez, get your glove going left?
Yeah. I think it's tougher now because now it's
Elimination game, you know.
you lose one more game, it's an elimination game, and you're gonna play, the he's still a rookie, so I'll call him the rookie who hasn't played this entire
They
postseason.
did
It's
that
like,
with
hey,
Peraza in 2022,
yeah, yeah, I guess I wouldn't put it past them, but
starting
it
at
just
shortstop. And I think shortstop's a much bigger deal than left field, especially when you
left
consider
field.
the Yankees. So,
I think it's something they need to consider for sure. But again, it just all these decisions, any decision you make now is just gonna be that much tougher to actually digest because you're on the brink of elimination. Like if it's tougher to change the lineup now. It's tougher to put in a new player now. Like you kind of just need to do what got you there and hope you win a game.
yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I
It,
personally, I'm not sure if I would feel comfortable, you know, shifting Bellinger to center, Dominguez to left, and then reshuffling the lineup on an elimination game.
Couple of things. One, if Bellinger's ankle is fine, I have no problem putting him in center. Because I've said this all
Yeah.
year that I think he's a better defender than Trent Grisham, and I think he should have been in center the whole year regardless. So I have no issue there. And you could say that. I'm not comfortable at all when I see Trent Grisham strike it on 3 pitches, lead off every single at bat. And that's another thing. Imagine you had a guy on base for when Aaron Judge is up. That'll put more pressure on the pitcher. But Trent Grisham has just been deplorable. Like, where is strikeout? 8 strikeouts and 20 at bats, a 40% strikeout percentage. He has 1 double, 3 hits. He has 2 walks, so I will give him that. But he's just looked horrible. He's looked feeble. Overmatched. Perfect word. And I don't know.
You can say that about the whole team, but
especially Grisham. And I think there is that spotlight on him because he is the leadoff hitter.
Yeah, I think that, and that's fair. I mean, do you hit Rice leadoff? Like, keep the same players you have, but just reshuffle the lineup?
That's the thing. I don't know.
Right. Again, these are questions you gotta answer when you're on the brink of elimination. Do you stick with what got you there, or do you try to shake things up, hoping, you catch lightning in the bottle?
I think that I was talking about this when I was at PT today. The Yankees, I don't think, can win this series on their own. They need a lot of it to be Toronto losing it.
Yeah.
Because
I think that's fair.
The thing that I've always thought with Toronto is that you look at the last 5 years, all they've done is talk, and it always blows up in their face. They've been very quiet recently. You almost need them to feel like they need to talk in a weird way, where you just need that off day to get in their head so much where they just start like getting so overly inflated that's what happens. Again, this is me just hoping, and this is me just looking at the past. That is, I think, one of the only ways the Yankees can win this series is that if Toronto just gets so up their own asses.
Yeah, I think it's the Red Sox at this point. Like, the Red Sox gifted the Yankees a few couple of runs, and you can make the argument if the Red Sox play a little cleaner defense, the Yankees maybe aren't here at that point, at this point. So I think you're right. I think you have to rely on the Blue Jays giving you something, whether that's a run on an error or like making a questionable pitching change or something like that, Because at this rate, I want to say most of the pressure is on Toronto because like they just need to win one more. So really, the Yankees have nothing, or I guess everything to play for, nothing to lose, I guess, in a way. So the ball's in Toronto's court for the most part. And I think that's the one highlight you can take is that, again, it's on Toronto to win one more game. The Yankees have to win 3 straight, and if they do it, great. If not, they're already down 2-0. So the ball's in Toronto's court, and it's their chance to kind of, I don't know, not rectify, but
I know what
like
you mean.
hold up their talk from the past, essentially.
And what I will say is Toronto is like one of the best, if not the best, home teams in all of baseball. I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, they're probably doing something funny. They're probably this because their home. If you look at their home road records over the last couple of years, this is a massive spike over the last couple of years. I think it's just one of those things. One of those
it's also
random.
just a much better team.
I think it's just one of those random spikes that for whatever reason the numbers just happen to go that way. I don't think there's anything funky. I'm not gonna say that until there's definitive.
No trash
and that's not
cans.
even me saying like, oh no, I'm not saying it, but no, I don't think there's anything there. It probably is just one of those things of they figured some shit out, or who knows, better preparation, better whatever.
Yeah.
But you could beat them on the road, or you could beat them at home. You need to take these first 2 games. That's just, or literally, like, there is no other option. You have to win these 2 games. And we've talked a lot about the offense. The pitching has been horrible. A lot of
Yeah.
people are going after Boone for taking out Luis Seal in like the third inning. Why? You wanted him to pitch second time through the order when they already hit 2 home runs off him and he did not look crisp. I don't know. I didn't have an issue with that. And what my issue was is, and Will Warren did end up pitching yesterday in kind of that mop up role. Why are Will Warren and Paul Blackburn both on this roster if one or the other is not going to pitch in that spot once you take out Heel?
Yeah. Like at this
Especially
rate, they're
Will
both on
Warren. Not
mop
as
up duty.
much Blackburn, but especially Will Warren.
Yeah. Like they're both on mop up duty, and frankly, if you're
That's
carrying
a waste of a
two
roster
mop
spot.
up guys, yeah, why? You
Carrying
think you're
two
gonna get
mop up
blown out?
guys, three catchers. Like,
Right.
this just. It
Yeah, we
feels
didn't
a
even talk
lot
about the
like the
fact that
Yankees
Escar
are.
is on the roster again.
It feels a lot more like the Yankees with their playoff roster are trying to prepare for the worst without maximizing. They're like, you know what I mean?
They're trying not to lose. They're not
Yeah.
trying to win.
Yeah, it just weird, a lot of weird roster building things, which doesn't really matter at this point, but it's just like,
Yeah.
why? Because that's the roster you
Right.
have, and both guys probably aren't pitching until the earliest Toronto. So, back in Toronto. So, who gives a shit about them, anyways? They weren't going to be the reason you win or lose a series. Maybe the reason you lose, but not the reason you win. But talking about you, Savage, because I just want to talk a little bit about this. He had a 69% whiff percentage on his splitter.
Disgusting. I'm sorry.
No, it is
He's
disgusting.
really fun to watch.
But he had a 38% zone rate on Sunday.
Jeez.
38% of his pitches were not in the zone. That's more what my issue is. I know it's a thing of you see the scouting report, all this, like, and like it's different going into the actual batter's box. This guy is all splitter. All that. You would think after this first time through the order, you realize, okay, he's literally just going to pound that sinker or splitter in the zone. If I at least take a couple of pitches, it may put me in a 2-1 count, a 3-1 count. And then I could do it because he can't go to that splitter unless he forces me to chase out of the zone.
Yeah. They never made an adjustment. And it is tough facing a pitcher you've never seen before and someone that this unique. I think it's fair to at least give them that benefit of the doubt. Like your Savage pitches like no one else. His slider doesn't break horizontally. Like it's if you look at his pitch chart, nothing is on the left side. Everything is on the in the top right corner. So it's a very weird look. It's a look you don't really see anymore. And then the pitches are just again also just very unique. So I think it's fair to give them that, but again, you gotta make an adjustment or at least just take
That's the
like
issue. They weren't making an adjustment.
right.
That's the biggest issue I had with this. And I don't want to be the person that complains about the manager, but some of these decisions are just so fucking weird so many of the times. And it feels like there's no adjustment. And a couple of things, Yankees are 25-27 in the playoff era, or the playoffs under Boone. The Yankees are 8-21 in the playoffs against teams who have a better regular season record than them. Half of those wins came in 2020.
It's just something about this organization just doesn't rise to the occasion. And it starts with Judge. I think it's fair to say that. It starts with Judge. The fact that the best right-handed hitter in Major League history over the past couple of seasons continuously does not show up is a problem. And he doesn't
Yes.
even need to be, regular season. He doesn't need to be 180, 200 WRC plus, but he can't be 115, 120. Like you have to be at an elite level. You don't have to be Aaron Judge. You have to be elite, and he has continuously not done that.
I agree and disagree because I agree with that. But what does it matter if not a single fucking guy on this team is hitting?
Right, yes,
Because
yeah,
you could
to
say it all
everyone
begins with
else.
Judge, but he's going to prevent Luis Heel from giving up 2 home runs in 2 1/3
Yeah,
innings. He's going to
yes, for
prevent
sure.
Max Fried from having probably the worst start we've seen him make as a Yankee. He's going to prevent Will Warren from coming up in mop up duty and get lit up. Not that that's Will Warren's fault. That's his job, mop up duty, whatever. They didn't really expect him to do much. That's why he was put in that situation. So I get it. It all starts with Judge, but I'm just kind of tired of the narrative that a lot of people are making this out to be only Judge's fault. If
Yeah, which it's not.
that's more what my frustration is, because like I will get on Judge. He needs to be better, but I don't see how you could look at the playoffs and you could look at the Yankees getting outscored 23-8 and make this an all about Aaron Judge. Like I get it, he needs to be better. He's getting on base. Like I know it's just singles, but he has an over 500 on base. The guys behind him have to drive him in. I'm sorry. Like
Yeah,
he needs to be better in those moments. But how much of that is because he knows no one else will do shit in those moments?
right.
You know what I mean? Like
Fair.
that's probably part of the reason why he whiffed on that splitter, because he saw no one else in the lineup was hitting. Cody Bellinger before yesterday was one of the worst hitters in the postseason. He has done nothing. Giancarlo Stanton has done nothing except for that double that he hit in Game 3 against the Red Sox. So he knows those two guys are behind him. Ben Rice has done dick after that first pitch home run that he's seen. So there is an element of him being like, if I don't score these runs, no one else will. So we can say
Just,
it's all on Aaron Judge, but at the same time, if no one else is doing anything, he kind of does have to press.
yeah. Just to further the point, since 2020, the Yankees have the 15th uh, ERA in the postseason as a team, 4.12. So they're painfully average. You know, teams like Milwaukee, Dodgers, Rangers, Atlanta, Cleveland, Houston, Seattle, Twins, Detroit are all above them.
There's a stat I saw too. Let me find this right now, just about the offense that I know it was. Give me a minute, because I know exactly who tweeted it. I just have to try and find it. But essentially, the offense was, call it 30%, or like 30 to 40 OPS points lower than league average in the postseason.
Right.
So like if it was I think it was 685, and the Yankees were like a 640 OPS in the postseason for the last 5 years.
Right.
Like you could say that's Aaron Judge, but why, when you have a new cast of characters pretty much every single year, a new group of players, they all don't do well in the postseason?
Yeah.
And
Again,
again,
that's why it goes back to
I don't like to blame the manager for everything. He's
right.
been the biggest constant when you have a completely new, different cast of characters. And it may not all be his fault, but I don't see how you could run it back with him when there's so many issues tied to him, to at the very least, get a different voice in there.
Yeah. And that's why I think it goes back to just an organization issue. Like you bring in guys, different guys, completely different guys, different coaches, and yet the team continuously just falls flat when it comes to October. And it's like it's a systemic problem that I'm frankly not quite sure how you rectify. Because even if sure you want to get rid of Boone, right? Maybe just get a new voice, which I think is fair at this point to question and talk about. But I'm not sure. Aaron Boone's not gonna change the fact that Max Fried doesn't perform. Isn't gonna change the fact that well, maybe the defense doesn't you know perform. That again, the best player past couple years doesn't perform. Like it's just like it's an organizational problem that I feel like you can't really point. Like it's everybody
I
top
agree
top
and
to bottom.
disagree. My only thing is that Aaron Boone, it feels like there's no accountability
Right.
in with his players, because you look, I'm sure you've seen like the thing about like the players meeting that Stanton had.
Yes. Yeah.
So pretty much Stanton, in after like that bad walk-off loss in Texas against the Rangers, he essentially pulled all the players into a meeting and ripped everyone a new one. A bunch of players like came out and said like a bunch of the players essentially said like keep my name out, don't post my name, but you could post my comments if I'm allowed to be honest. And they essentially said I've never been ripped into like that before.
Right.
And that started off a winning streak. So, and there's kind of like a joke in football that when there has to be an all players meeting, that means the coach is gone after the year because they just don't trust the. And again, that's obviously very, very widespread,
Case by
very vague,
case.
and more so for a joke.
Yeah.
But I do think there may be something to the fact of if you had, there's how many times that, especially Stanton, 2 or 3 times this year, we've heard about him having to say something to get the Yankees to win. That have to
Right.
sit down all the players and all players mean to have them win, to have them get ready. If you have to do that so many times, what the fuck does Aaron Boone do? Like legitimately asking, like to me the most important job of a manager in baseball because you're not calling plays. You can say the pitching change all that, but that's a lot more based off numbers. The most important thing is to get the guys ready to play. And it feels like so many times where you look at, and this obviously this isn't perfect. It just doesn't make sense that the Yankees had Joe Girardi make it to Game 7 of the ALCS as the heavy underdogs that shouldn't even have made the playoffs, and they got rid of him after this year. What then makes you say with the same logic that Aaron Boone should still be here? That's more what my issue is.
I think that's fair. The fact like there's not really consistency in the decision making from the top. But I don't know. I feel like again, it's an organizational thing because I forget who said it. I forgot where it came from. Maybe it was just Clint Frazier running his mouth. But, like, there was a rumor. There was rumors like a couple months ago, maybe it was last year, about how like the Yankees like don't believe in hot and cold streaks and like you are who you are type of thing. Like again, maybe that's the problem, right? But and that's I don't think that's an Aaron Boone thing. Like I think that's a Brian Cashman thing. That's a Yankee organization thing. Maybe that's a Steinbrenner thing. I don't know.
I
Maybe
would,
that's probably pushing it, but
yeah, because I don't think he is
yeah, but
much, if anything, to do with the team. The only thing I think
yeah,
he really has anything to do with was when he called Aaron Judge and finished up that contract.
yeah,
That's really the only time I could think of Hal Steinbrenner legitimately being involved. Because you got to think about it this way: if Hal Steinbrenner was legitimately involved, I'm not sure Brian Cashman still has a job. Because Hal Steinbrenner has never done a GM search, and I
hmm
think that if he had before in the future, he would have moved off Cashman earlier. And I think Cashman isn't as big of an issue as some of the other things, and I think that does get a little overblown.
yeah,
But I don't know. That's just I think that Hal is pretty much not for better or for worse has nothing to do with this team. But
yeah. But long story short, like I think there's something in the organization that just doesn't click. I feel there's
yeah.
just something that doesn't work or they think works, and they're wrong. So again, I'm not sure how you fix that,
Hmm.
but I think that's just kind of the spot where you are because at this point it's hands up because like what do you mean you keep changing players and you keep changing coaches besides the manager and this keeps happening.
Hmm. I just a lot of the time you just look at the guys and they don't seem ready to play. That's
Right.
what I see a lot. You see a lot of just lackluster at bats, just swinging out of their shoes, just not working the counts. And because the thing that works so well for the Yankees offense a lot throughout the year is they would work the counts and then punish the bad pitches. That's what worked for them. They just seem like they're looking for bad pitches when guess what? These are better pitchers, so you're not going to see as many bad pitches, so you're going to have to work the counts more. And they seem like they just lost all ability to work the counts. But
Yeah, I mean they have a 5% walk rate, near 30% strikeout rate, sub 300 on base.
I wish there was a way to see the pitches per plate appearance between now and the regular season.
Yeah, yeah, that would probably take some time
Yeah,
to
that would take a
build
lot more
up,
time than
but I'm sure it's
a
not
lot
pretty.
lower, a pitch or
Yeah,
two lower. So that I really think is the biggest issue with the offense. They're just not wearing down pitchers. They're letting them pitch for too long, and then the pitching is just dumb bullpen decisions combined by guys just not pitching.
yeah.
Max
Look, if
Fried,
Max Fried shows up yesterday, this different conversation.
yeah, If
Completely different
if
conversation.
Max Fried shows up yesterday, I think it's all on the bullpen decisions. That's what all
Mhm.
you look at. But Max Fried has to show up there. Rodon had moments in his last start where he did not look pretty one bit. Probably could make an argument he should have given up more than 3 runs. But that's the guy that you have to bank on now to stave off elimination going up against Shane Bieber. Bieber's looked a lot different since coming back from Tommy John, since come back on with the Blue Jays. But I just hope that they can look at it and be like, we've had success against this guy in the postseason. We're at home. We've got nothing to lose. And one thing that I was thinking about this with Aaron Judge is, to Aaron Judge, this should not matter. I know he's the captain. I know all that. You just had a little baby girl. You have a wife. You have charities, all that. I want you to go home today. I want you to look at what you have outside of it and realize this shit does not matter. Yeah, I want to come through in the big moments. It does not matter. Relieve some of that pressure instead of thinking this is the biggest moment of my life. It's not. You have so much other shit than a dumb baseball game.
Yeah.
I think a lot of players need to do that are pressing. You see some other guys that are pressing, it's like, no, it's a damn baseball game. Obviously, we want you guys to do better. We are crazy fans doing this. But find ways to relieve that pressure and realizing that, yeah, it's a big stage. I'm getting paid. Your pay, especially for guys like Judge and Stan, your pay won't change based off how you do in the playoffs. You guys are locked into your contracts. It's not going to make a fucking difference. Just, I don't know. It's pissing me off that so many guys just seem like they're not ready to play. So many guys are just in their heads. Where I get it, it's the playoffs, it's different, yada yada yada. But it's so fucking infuriating how they just act like they've never played a baseball game before. They look like, some of the times they look like me or you trying to swing a bat or throw a pitch or try to find the zone. Like,
I mean, yeah. Again, it's at the point where it's like there's really not much else to say. Like, offense hasn't looked good, pitching hasn't really shown up in this series, and then any decision you do make just kind of blows up in your face.
and I'll agree. Some of
Here we
those
are.
decisions I think were ones that may have been the right call but went wrong. A lot of them were just dumb calls. And I've always been a proponent of, with those type of moves, they only look good or bad based off the result, but sometimes the process is still there. A lot of the time, the process just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But you got Rodon versus Bieber on Tuesday. Then you got Schlittler versus a bullpen game on Wednesday. Cam Schlittler is not going to throw 8 scoreless innings again. If he does, I will be shitting my pants. But he is not going to do that. And then for game 5, if you get there, you most likely have Gosman versus Max Fried. Gosman is going to be on an extra day of rest. And I think the broadcast may have said it about 30 times, but Kevin Gosman started doing a lot better when he was on 5 days of rest, so the extra day of rest. So you have an uphill battle here. But do you know the last team to come back from being down 0-2 to then go on the road to win it in a 5-game playoff series?
Who, Jesse?
2017 Yankees. This has only happened, I believe it was 3 times in the whole span of it being the 2-2-1 setup for the ALDS. It's only happened 3 times. You know, also has never happened before? Team and come back after losing the first game with 3-game wild card. I'm not saying the Yankees are going to come back. I don't think they're going to come back. But that's the thing about baseball and why it's so bullshit and why we love it. We have seen some of the most ridiculous comebacks of all time happen. It can still happen. Find a way. Get your heads out of your asses. Be the team we've seen all year. The Blue Jays have more home runs than strikeouts this series. Pitching's got to be fucking better. Throw the ball in the zone. If they hit it, so what? But you're literally just getting them into 3-1, 3-0, 2-1 counts where they're ahead in the count and they're just teeing off against it. Vladimir Guerrero, I don't think if anyone's shocked that he's playing so well, you're a fucking idiot and don't see how he plays against the Yankees all the time. You have to find a way to minimize him because everyone else is just going off because of him. He is so scared that everyone feels like they have to pitch to everyone else, throwing it right down the middle to everyone else. Boom, that's an issue. Just be better. Everyone that has seen this team all year knows that this team is not that bad. They are not playing as bad as they're playing right now. But it doesn't matter if you lose tomorrow because then you don't have a chance to show it. So play better. Don't be dumbasses. Realize you guys got a lot more going for you. You guys are multi-goddamn millionaires. I don't care how competitive it is. It's not the end of the world if you lose it. So stop playing like you're literally about to die. And you're playing like your legs are shaking. So let's not. That's all I had. Let's do anything else.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get in a worse position. This is obviously as bad as it's gonna get. So it's one game at a time, and take it from there. You know, if you beat Bieber, then you have a bullpen game, which probably I would say favors you. And then if you get it to one game, and
Yeah, but
anything can
Free
happen.
Savage also should have favored you. So who goddamn knows?
Fair, no, fair enough. But yeah, I agree with you. I have a hard time seeing them climb out of this. But again, like you said, it's baseball. Weirder shit has happened. So, with that being said, I know this is a bit more of a angry, ranty video, but that's where the Yankees are. Their season on the line going into Tuesday back home in the Bronx. So we'll see you after that for Justin's sake, hopefully later than Tuesday. So, but thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for listening. If you're on YouTube, remember to subscribe, leave a like, leave us a comment. Do you think the Yankees can come back from this? If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating, leave us a review. Really helps us out. Lets us know that you're enjoying the show. And as always, follow all of our social media accounts at Triboro Podcast, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Justin posts the lineups and the final scores when he's available every single day for the postseason. So go make sure to go check it out there and give us a follow. We do appreciate it. But with that being said, thank you guys again, and we'll see you in the next episode.